There was a very interesting piece in The Atlantic just yesterday, 9/26. And it's titled, How We Got Democracy Dies in Darkness, which became the Washington Post's slogan during the Trump years. And anybody who was in the media who wasn't a leftist understood immediately when this came out what a joke it was. Talk to somebody like me and Matt, we're older, about how dark democracy was over at the Washington Post when Obama was spewing the lies about if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. I didn't hear much from the Washington Post. In fact, what I heard was them defending Barack Obama. That would later be dubbed the lie of the year by even left-wing sources because it got to the point where it was totally undeniable he had lied. And it came out that actually he knew it was untrue when he said it, so the word lie is okay. A deep dive based on Marty Barron, who used to run the Washington Post, his upcoming book about the Washington Post, talking, at length about how they came up with this wonderful slogan. The number of alternative slogans that were bandied about. Bezos had given them their marching orders, Emily. He said, I want it to be both aspirational and disruptive, not a paper I want to subscribe to, but rather an idea I want to belong to. We love this country, so we hold it accountable. They went through slogan after slogan. Months of meetings were held. Frustrations deepened. Outside branding consultants were retained to no avail. Desperation led to a long list of options venturing into the inane. The ideas totaled at least 1,000. A bias for truth. No. A right to know. You have a right to know. Unstoppable journalism. The power is yours. Relentless pursuit of the truth. Facts matter. It's all about America. Spotlight on democracy. Democracy matters. A light on the nation. Democracy lives in light. Democracy takes work. We'll do our part. Apparently they settled on a free people demand to know. And Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, Mackenzie Scott, who was a novelist, said, that's a Franken slogan. Too many words. It doesn't work. And then we needed Bezos to take unilateral action. Are you getting the chill up your spine? Are they getting the tinglies yet? Finally, he did. Let's go with democracy dies in darkness, he decreed. It had been on our list from the start. It was a phrase Bezos had used previously in speaking of the Post's mission. He himself had heard it from the Washington Post legend, Bob Woodward, and went on from there. Oh my God. I've never heard anything so self-aggrandizing and so false all in one from a newspaper head.
And then The Atlantic is publishing it too, without any self-reflection. The Trump era is now in the rearview mirror, and we can look at exactly what the media's failures were. Even the media, so the Washington Post has a long series right now, basically about how it allowed democracy to suffer in darkness throughout the Russia collusion hoax. They actually allowed one of their own journalists, media critics, to go back and look at how they got so many stories wrong
Eric
as it
Wemple,
pertains
who's
to
like the
Russia.
only honest
Yes.
man over there. Keep going.
Yeah, Eric Wemple did it. Yep, absolutely. And it's in their own paper. And the sad thing is that it's true. The reason, you can go back and look at what the framers, the founding fathers, wrote about the importance of a free press. And they didn't have the same mass media neutral press that we got used to in the 20th century. It was pretty partisan. But when mass media came along, they had to appeal to as many people as possible. So they had this sort of neutral stance for the ad money. And that's when we came to this idea that journalists were, just out there being objective, neutral. And some people really did try for years to do that, because you do need a free press to be able to shine. Otherwise, politicians have no incentive to behave and no incentive to do the right thing. So it's absolutely essential. They're right. Democracy does die in darkness. They are time and again the source of the darkness. They are shielding it. They are intentionally. It's not just that they're missing things. They are missing things, to continue torturing this metaphor, but they are also shielding things from light actively. They are helping the government censor things. You can look time and again, and there's just absolutely absolutely, like the collusion. It's the Missouri v. Biden. I mean, this stuff is like actually in court right now, that they were working in concert with big tech and media and the Biden administration. And Joan Didion absolutely skewed Bob Woodward in the New York Review of Books in like 1991. It's just like a beautiful thing, looking at how he was basically allowing democracy to suffer in darkness for years. So it's not new, but the Trump era is what accelerated it, not what solved it in this telling from Marty Baron. And it's staggering because it's so untrue that they are still not reckoning with it. They are sprinting further in the other direction. The media is not getting better. It is getting aggressively worse. And this is a great example of why.
Matt, you've got Glenn Kessler over there, the king fact checker, who is wrong all the time. Philip Bump, Jennifer Rubin at the Washington
America's
Post.
Sweetheart.
Oh my God. I mean, that's what a joke this once revered paper has become. I'm sorry, it's become a joke. Its circulation is down to record lows. It's absolutely abysmal, both online and in terms of the actual delivery. And I went back just to look at just a couple of my favorites. Here is Washington Post, October 2020. The Hunter Biden laptop could be fake, or it could be real. We may never know. Okay, that was their democracy dies in darkness approach 1 month before a presidential. Tomato. Then by March of 2022, when everybody had verified it, after extensive forensic analysis, the Washington Post was able to determine that some of the data on the laptop appears to be authentic. Some, but not all. Okay, Hunter Biden's literally filing a lawsuit right now saying the whole thing was his and that they were wrong to steal it from him and give it to the papers. So that's just a couple examples. And then let me give you one more. February 17th, 2020. The headline, which they then had to revise, but it was Tom Cotton keeps repeating a coronavirus fringe theory that scientists have debunked. I'll give you one guess what his fringe debunked theory was about. Do you have any guess, Matt Welch? What do you have any guess?
It's something about a lab leak, perhaps?
Nailed it. His debunked theory, fringe, was that COVID was somehow connected to research in the disease-ravaged epicenter of Wuhan, China. He referenced a laboratory in the city.
Also racist.
Right, I'm getting to that. But there is, quote, ready for it? No evidence, says the Washington Post. There is no evidence. Where have we heard that phrase recently? Cotton is referring to a well-known lab in Wuhan. Numerous experts dismiss the possibility that the coronavirus may be man-made. This isn't true. They go on to cite some expert, quote unquote, to say it's very harmful, it's very dangerous to stir up suspicion, rumors, and spread them among the people. For one thing, this will create panic. Another is that it will fan up racial discrimination, Emily, xenophobia, and so on. Their expert goes on to say these kinds of conspiracy theories are unhelpful and borderline irresponsible. It's a conspiracy theory. And he's peddling it. So that's our democracy dies in darkness. Let's hold the powerful accountable newspaper of record, Matt.
Yeah, the people can't handle the truth. This is the longstanding idea about a lot of media critics or media thinkers over time, is that we have to be so careful. We have to massage. We have to be careful not to platform the wrong people, because the consumers are these inert sheep. And if they get the wrong ideas or even bandy around the wrong theory, they're going to do horrible things. We can't even imagine how bad these sheep-like consumers are going to be activated. What's interesting about Marty Baron as a character in this is that, and this excerpt is from a forthcoming book that he has, and maybe they mashed together like a Frankenstein slogan of a book about the origins of the democracy dies in darkness. And he's sneering. He's like, yeah, Trump thought it was about him, but far from the truth, kind of thing, as if it has nothing to do with Trump. We know what you were doing. We know it. All right. It's really obvious. And it was a source of a lot of industry snickering, and rightfully so, because it was very dramatic and kind of silly. The second half of this book excerpt is about how Marty Baron was fighting an increasingly lonely battle within his own newsroom. And in fact, it's why he left earlier than he planned to. He was fighting against people who had gone completely like woke crazy. There's Taylor Lorenz was in there, Felicia Somnez, all kinds of interior struggle sessions at the Washington Post. But he's fighting a lonely battle to hold on to that old-timey sense of neutrality and pursuit, imperfect pursuit of objectivity. He's written quite a lot about this. And he recognizes that he's outnumbered. He was outnumbered at his own newspaper by the likes of Margaret Sullivan, the very bad press critic over there who now works for The Guardian. And he doesn't see the connective tissue between the two things, right? You created a slogan, a very dramatic one, that was an idea you could belong to, that sounded like you were going to be the rallying cry against Trump. And that's how your newsroom therefore behaved. That is why you lost the objectivity fight. And also, not incidentally, that is why you've lost 500,000 subscribers since Trump left office.
This is a flash sale event for Enviro Cleanse, the home air purifier so powerful, the U.S. Navy chose it to purify the air on their ships. The timing of this 25% off flash sale could not be better. It is officially cold and flu season. And of course, it's the 10,000th variety of COVID coming out soon. Enviro Cleanse is proven to capture and destroy flu and COVID viruses in your home. Not to mention bacteria, toxins, mold, and allergens. We found mold at our beach house. Guess what they said? Get some air purifiers right now before you can get it taken care of on a more macro level. Enviro Cleanse is a way you can fight back against the entire family getting sick. In fact, Enviro Cleanse is the only home air purifier that promises you and your family better health. Don't miss this 25% off flash sale, 25% off. Order your Enviro Cleanse home air purifier while supplies last. Visit ekpure.com and use the code Megyn. ekpure.com, code Megyn, ekpure.com, code Megyn. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.